From prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. Welcome to CreatureGuide Live Daily News. Remember to let's just dive into the news of the day. So, from BBC.com, cafe staff praised for seeking help for seal pup. Let's see. So, is this? Oh, yeah. So it's a gray seal pup, Elmer. It's being cared for by the RSPCA while he regains his weight and strength. Staff at an Isle of Wight cafe have been surprised or praised by a wildlife charity after they sought help for an unexpected guest, a gray seal pup. The young seal made its way up the beach to the lazy wave at Shanklin on Tuesday afternoon and fell asleep on its deck area. Cafe staff alerted British Divers Marine Life Rescue, and its medics found the 4-week-old male pup was underweight, dehydrated, and exhausted. He has now been cared for by the RSPCA in Hastings. The Lazy Wave Cafe said Elmer was definitely our cutest customer ever. Yeah, so he's probably in his first few days, maybe 2 days. He seems quite thin.
Was this a good pick?
Yeah. Yeah, it's, unless that's just his fur being, somewhat wrinkly, but I don't know, I wouldn't call him fat. Oh, okay, well, here he looks slightly better. Looks older here, though. Caf okay, so cafe's owner, Rollins, said she first found out about the seal when staff sent her photo with the message, "Got a problem." She said, "Usually that means the coffee machine's gone on strike. Flush machines, donut machine doesn't want to play ball." What I wasn't expecting was a seal lying outside the cafe looking like he owned the place. He said as the staff watched on, he seemed a little distressed and even let out what we could only describe as crying. I told the team to check for another field nearby, but with none in sight, I asked them to give him plenty of space and make sure no one, especially dogs, get too close. Now, usually within 12 to 13 days, the mothers do abandon. This occurs with most seals, the pup. But this youngster, I'm not sure. He could be a bit too young.
Wait, is he that young there, or is he just that young in the first picture?
We have no idea.
Because I don't see any fur on him.
Well, if he just got out of the water, it's going to the fur is just going to look like glistening skin, but in reality, he's completely covered in fur except his like nose. Let's see. They made sure the little one was safe until help arrived. I couldn't be prouder of how the team handled such an unexpected situation. Big thanks to the amazing team at British Divers Marine Life Rescue for being on hand to help our unexpected seaside visitor. The charity thanked the staff for not ushering the pup, who was in need of round the clock care, back into the sea. It said he weighed 13 kilograms or somewhere around, 26, 27 pounds. Oh, yeah, he's small rather than the expected 45 kilograms for an animal of his age. So he has been underfed. BDMLR said the little pup was initially fed overnight to stabilize him at Carisbrook Vets. He was then taken by ferry to the mainland. Wow. Okay, this pup went through a lot with the charity's medics and slept soundly for most of the journey. Well, I haven't heard of many like wildlife charities. I guess immediately um, aiding like some animal like this. Anyway, the charity said Elmer would be piling on the blubber at RSPCA Maladams in Fairlight near Hastings, before being released back into the wild on the west coast in several months. I think this is in England. Could be. There are gray seals and harbor seals off the coast of England. Anyways, I hope that this gray seal makes it and he continues. Well, he starts feeding on different species of fish, krill, crustaceans in the region. Um, maybe he'll even take advantage of seabirds. I just hopes he grows up to be a big, healthy gray seal. They can reach somewhere around, let's see, about 700 pounds or somewhere around 300 kilograms. Let's see. I mean, you can find them also in different parts of the Arctic. I mean, even over in New England, off the coast of northeastern United States, there are gray seals and harbor seals. So, moving on from iflscience.com, meet the heaviest jelly in the seas, weighing over twice as much as a grand piano. So, I've not really focused on jellyfish. So let's see what we have. The lion's mane jellyfish has over 1,000 tentacles arranged in 8 clusters. Well, that's quite unique. Well, I wonder for jellyfish, though. We often. Okay. The lion's mane jelly is a world record holder for being the heaviest jellyfish on Earth. Guinness World Records lists its estimated weight at 1 metric ton. Wow, that is quite a heavy jellyfish, making it by far the heaviest of all the jellies. The tentacles alone can grow to around 30.5 meters or 100 feet. This is a very large individual, so long that they rival the length of the largest animal to have ever lived, the blue whale. Well, I mean, if it's 100 feet, it's about the same length, but that's still quite amazing for a jellyfish. The name lion's mane is given in response to these tentacles, which hang in a cloud around the bell of the jellyfish. Guessing the bell is referring to the top of it. Only other animal I'm familiar with that has a distinct bell, at least it's coming to me at the moment, is like a moose right underneath its chin. But talking about a mammal, these are arranged in 8 clusters and could contain as many as 1,200 individual tentacles. Hmm. That's actually tentacles, not, the suction pads. That's a lot. The tentacles are used to catch a range of creatures, including small fish and even other jellyfish. Lion's mane jellyfish can deliver a painful sting through these tentacles, which contains large amounts of neurotoxins. I would think that an animal this large, now maybe it releases less neurotoxins, but at 100 feet in length and weighing over 2,000 pounds or 1,000 kilograms, this is, I would think it would instantly kill you. They are even mentioned in Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes short story, The Adventure of Lion's Mane is Causing a Death. There is some controversy surrounding whether the lion's mane is the largest jellyfish, however. The biggest specimen was allegedly caught off North America by a geologist in 1856, with BBC Wildlife reporting them as describing a specimen at Nahant, the disc of which had attained a diameter of 7.5 feet or 2.3 meters, the tentacles extending to a length of more than 120 feet or 37 meters. Wonder what it's referring to as the disc. Is this like the top of the jellyfish? Many scientists are not convinced by this account, and some even consider Nomura's jellyfish to truly be the largest. It can weigh 200 kilograms or 441 pounds. It's still a big jellyfish and has a bell that can reach 2 meters or 6.6 feet in diameter. They grow exceptionally fast and can reach this size in just 1 year. These jelly giants are found in the Yellow Sea and the South China Sea. Recent years have seen a massive population explosion, causing problems for fishers. It's interesting. Now I really want to kind of do a little bit of research into these jellyfish, especially what's stating with the like the jellyfish themselves are overfishing. Finally, something. Well, I mean that's occurred with other animals. By contrast, Guinness World Records lists the 16 species of Irukandai jellyfish as the world's smallest. Some of these tiny creatures' bells measure only 5 centimeters or 1.97 inches across. And that's oh, okay. And possess just 4 tentacles. That's interesting. So, yeah, I guess I've heard of different jellyfish having a different amount of tentacles.
400 versus 1,200?
Oh well, that too. And then this one just only having
I said
four
400, I meant
tentacles.
4.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's quite something. Despite this, these are some of the most venomous creatures and have even proven fatal to humans. Yeah, I would assume. Forgot who is that thing? Like the Portuguese. It's not hitting me, but I don't know if that's a distinct jellyfish or some other group of animals. Uh, hmm. Okay, so moving on From the dodo.com, rescuers halt bulldozers when they notice mysterious eggs near construction site. What are these going to be? Turtles? The other day, Bunurong Wildlife Sanctuary, I'm guessing this is over in Asia somewhere, probably Southeast Asia. Team members were walking near a construction site on the property when they noticed four speckled eggs nestled in the grass. The animal experts quickly jumped into the action and called off the maintenance crew. Oh, okay, because it took place in Wildlife Sanctuary, and I guess you had guys overseeing the site. Wildlife safety always comes first. Yeah, that's true for lot of sort of. I'd say when it doesn't need to come first, it comes first. And then in instances where like the animal needs help, like there are several instances where they're just like, we're not gonna deal with it. Like for instance, like several instances where there are deer that have fallen through frozen lakes or it's stuck on a frozen lake. And just the regular public has to get those deer out.
I just like the title. That's why I put it in.
Let's see what's going on here. Wait, this looks like Australia. We're carrying out some driveway works to maintain and improve the sanctuary access roads. Like many workplaces, sometimes this involves using machinery, but wildlife safety always comes first for us. The Bonarong Wildlife Sanctuary sounds like something like the Betong. Okay, I've got a feeling these are either these look like bird eggs. Not an emu, but not a cassowary. It's not hitting me by bird eggs. For the
Were you expecting elephant eggs?
like elephant bird. Well, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. For the construction crew, the origin of those random eggs may well have been a mystery, but sanctuary staff knew they hadn't ended up there by accident. The eggs belong to a pair of masked lapwings, large birds native to Australia, New Zealand, and New Guinea who build their nests on the ground. Luckily, the construction hadn't scared the feathered couple away. Oh, these guys. Okay. Um, Okay, well, it's good that they can kill them. But I respect these parents. Like, wow. The parent birds were close by, keeping a watchful eye. As soon as we paused work and left the area, the parents quickly returned to the nest to continue caring for the eggs. Sometimes our local wildlife chooses to make their home right where we're working, and we think that's pretty special. Recently, two mass lapwings set up a nest near our construction site. To give them the best chance at raising their chicks safely, we've pressed pause on machinery working in the area. These birds are busy nesting in late winter and early spring. You might spot their protective behavior if you see them, spreading their wings wide as if shielding something, calling out loudly to alert you from their nest. If you notice these signs, it's a great cue to give them space and admire from a distance. Um, okay. Though pausing the construction presented a mild inconvenience, rescuers knew the delay was worth it when lives were at risk. Ground nesting birds like lapwings are especially vulnerable. If disturbed, the parents may temporarily leave the nest, which can expose eggs or chicks to predators and the cold. Keeping nests safe gives these birds the best chance of raising their young successfully. Guessing it's another parent. Staff members kept a watchful eye on the nest. Eventually, they spotted the fluffy chicks they'd been looking for. Oh, did they hatch on site? Well, that was miraculous. Huh. These chicks will stay with their parents for the next 5 to 7 months while they learn important survival skills. According to Harris, many masked lapwing families stay together after the young learn to fly, and in some cases have been known to stay as a family group for up to 2 years. Thanks to the vigilance of sanctuary staff members, these amazing birds can grow up in peace. Okay, well, it's good to hear that they hatched and hopefully, they will make it to adulthood as well. I'm not entirely sure where this specific sanctuary occurs over. I'm guessing this is in Australia because at first, like it sounded somewhat Asian, like in the name, and then I'm looking at the landscape, and then all of a sudden, like the term "betong" comes to me, and it's like, okay, this sounds Australian, possibly in the eastern region. Okay, so moving on from IFLScience.com. The world's no, let's find another one. Just the northern elephant seal. Let's see. So from iflscience.com, this cute creature has one of the largest genomes of any mammal, with 114 chromosomes. There's nothing else like them on the planet. Oh, really? The white bellied pangolin. Well, let's take a look at this guy. Small, scarce, and shy, the white bellied pangolin has one of the highest. Okay, we've already said this. Pangolins. Okay. In 2023, scientists from UCLA studied the genomes of three of these species, white bellied, Chinese, and Sunda pangolins, and stumbled across what they called a true scientific surprise. They found the white bellied pangolin had 114 chromosomes, significantly more than any mammal except the Bolivian bamboo rat, which has 118. However, it was only the females that had 114 chromosomes. The males have just 113 chromosomes. Okay, so they're not far behind, which is really strange since in almost all species, both sexes carry the same number. There's nothing else like them on the planet. Chromosomes. Okay, so uh, well, this is interesting. So, supposedly people have 23 pairs, chimpanzees have 24 pairs, dogs have 39 pairs, fruit flies have 4, and Tasmanian devils have only 7. That's interesting. The highest chromosome count of any animal is the Atlas blue butterfly, which has 229 pairs. I wonder why. I've looked into certain chromosomes or count for like different members of the horse family. So, zebras, Przewalski's horse, onagers, but I think occasionally like bison and water buffalo. But this is actually quite new. So, this is interesting. Let's see. It isn't clear why the white bellied pangolin has such an unusual genome assembly, but a greater understanding of it could be very useful. And okay, so okay, that's it. Well, this was interesting to know about the white-bellied pangolin. So, females have 114, the males have 113. But that blue butterfly, though, that was quite interesting. Like what, 229? I think it said. That is quite astounding. Wonder why. But the Tasmanian devil also only had 7. Something maybe about marsupials having less, but granted, comparing it to an insect. So, from the CowboysStateDaily.com, Grizzly shows up at camp for Montana wildland firefighters. A grizzly bear ambled right up to a spike camp for wildland firefighters in western Montana late Thursday. They were lucky all he wanted was to eat some leaves off a bush. Oh, yeah, they are quite herbivorous, but this is something. It's like, hey, thanks for stopping the wildfire for once. Okay, so grizzly bear made a stop by a firefighter's spike camp late Thursday near the small town of Avon in western Montana. The firefighters stayed calm and the bear left on its own. So nobody was mauled, humans and the bears all stayed calm. People were just standing there watching him as the bear apparently foraged leaves from brush. Um, he took video of the bear, which he said was about 50 yards away or somewhere around 180 feet. 60 meters. They're not 60. Yeah. Bear experts say grizzlies have a keen sense of space. I mean, yes. Okay. Could be that sense emanating from the firefighters' camp drew the grizzly in. The bear didn't seem to be distracted by the presence of a crowd of humans, said Hoosier. The roughly 6,000-acre fire was ignited by lightning on August 14th in the Hoodoo Mountain Wilderness Study Area. At about 7:30 p.m., we were just standing there waiting for dinner to show up because we were in a spike camp. They had to truck dinner in. So what happened here? Okay, so he's just walking over. Yeah, he's probably smelling every single individual in the area. And now he's just marking his scent, I'm guessing. Or is he really? I wonder what he's munching on.
Maybe he's just using it as a toothpick.
Yeah, that would kind of hurt. Let's see. Well, if this happened recently, I mean, he still has like another what 3 months to. Well, I'd say at least 2.5 months to pack on some weight. So there previously was a little black bear in the garbage at the camp. Oh gosh, maybe that's what he was coming for. On Thursday evening, when he heard people saying there's a bear over there, he decided to go take a look. I thought I was going to see another little black bear, but it was a big old grizzly bear. Oh, okay. So this happened um, afterwards. In the video he took, the bear appears to be completely focused on ripping leaves off some brush. This time of year, grizzlies are in a pig out mode called hyperphagia, gorging on up to 20,000 calories a day as they pack on fat to prepare for winter hibernation. That depends on where, but yes, if they have access to these nutrients, they can pack on sometimes more. But that tends to also be with a larger subspecies of brown bears, maybe with Kodiaks, catch Kamchatka brown bears in Russia, and even like brown bears over in parts of Alaska, the Yukon, well, different parts of Western Canada. Down in Montana, they're probably not going to be able to obtain that much, especially every single day. Maybe if they have access to certain crops, but that tends to be more common with certain black bear populations where you get those massive, like 650-pound individuals. Let's see. So, luckily for the firefighters, the grizzly was satisfied with gobbling some leaves and didn't try to charge in and steal their dinners. That's actually quite surprising. The incident ended peacefully. I would have expected if they're having some large feast that he would have popped up and tried to take everything, and he didn't. Makes me wonder if he was already full, and then he just. I wonder if he was munching on some berries, but they're just mentioning leaves. I'm not precisely sure what species of Wyoming plant that was, but that's my only guess. He would have had to have been full for that to occur. I don't I don't think it has to do anything with experience. Like he ended up getting scared off by some other people because he would be avoiding them. But in this case, he was just hanging out. So I think he just happened to be a really calm grizzly, which is rare, especially for males. They're much more aggressive than even the females with her cubs. So I hope that grizzly fattens up even more for hibernation, and he gets to sire some cubs the next year. So from ksnt.com, how did Italian wall lizards end up in Topeka? Okay. Topeka. Oh, but well, if we're talking about here, yeah, that's over in Kansas. Um, if you've ever noticed lizards running around Topeka and wondered where they come from, you're not alone. They are Italian wall lizards. Their arrival in the area can be traced back to the 1950s to an exotic animal store on 21st and Gage. It isn't known whether these lizards escaped or were set free. Shortly after getting out, they began to populate all around Topeka. Sounds like the same incident with many species, reptiles, amphibians that over in Florida. You could say different parts of Southeast, even to South Carolina nowadays, Southern Alabama. So some people even caught them and spread them to places like Lawrence and Hayes. They do very well in town, and I think that's good, probably for the environment overall. Other things do eat them. I do know there have been some experiments with trying to figure out how well or how they do well in certain areas and how they don't do well in other areas. You set them free in a more urban area like a college campus, they're going to multiply. It tends to happen with quite a few different species of animals, especially squirrels, if they're fed. There have been instances where it's like certain years on certain college campuses, um, the squirrels seem completely fat. In other years, it's like they're starving. But I think it also tended to happen after COVID, and nobody was feeding these squirrels for the most part. So, yeah, I think there are also like certain die-offs or worse. Well, I mean by that is possibly cannibalism, but that might be more of a rat thing. Okay, the Italian wall lizard can be found in a few states and in Europe, but most notably Topeka, Kansas, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Pompeii, Italy. So Yeah, these lizards did not
That's a
get.
weird mix.
Yeah, so they escaped the volcano. I respect that. Um, but anyway, not a whole lot I can say about this Italian wall lizard. In fact, I'm not even familiar with that species. We haven't. Okay, so let's see. The Great Migration Africa you haven't heard of yet. In Zambia's remote Liowa Plains, tens of thousands of wildebeest sweep across restored grasslands in epic migration. You can still witness without the crowds. Oh, okay. I know where this is. So this is north of Botswana. This is southwest of the Serengeti over northern Tanzania and southern Kenya. So there's far fewer wildebeest here, but still, I think it's a healthy population. I'm not sure when the last population estimate was. So I take the tens of thousands with a grain of salt. But most travelers associate the Great Migration with the Serengeti Mara system. Let's see. But in western Zambia's Lua Plain National Park, close to 45,000 wildebeest follow their own ancient path to drink from the Zambezi River. It's Africa's second largest wildebeest migration. It once still blissfully free of crowds. I mean, the thing is that comparing it to like the somewhere between the 500,000 to 800,000 count to wildebeest over in the Serengeti, I mean, you still have 45,000 here, which is much more than pretty much any intact herd of like elk or mule deer over in the United States. Possibly there are some caribou herds that can surpass that number. But oh yeah, definitely. Like if I was thinking, certain herds over in Alaska or the Yukon. But besides that, no, this is still one of the largest herds on Earth. So let's see. Measuring 1,301 square miles or what? A little over 2,000 square kilometers. Laiwa, meaning plain in the local Lozi language, is one of Zambia's oldest conservation areas. 2 centuries ago, the Laitunga king turned what had been his private hunting grounds over to his people as custodians. Poaching later decimated the wildlife here. That's happened to quite a few national parks in Africa. Something happened, and all of a sudden, all the animals just turn up dead. This heck, I think happened over like Nairobi National Park, the mid 1900s, which is right next to Nairobi, Kenya. Anyway, most of the animals have rebounded, though I think the lions are not very genetically. They don't have like a lot of genetic variety. But when NGO African Parks began managing Laiwa alongside the Zambian Department of National Parks and Wildlife and the Barotse Royal Establishment, in 2008, species such as lions, buffalo, and the eland were reintroduced, helping restore a thriving ecosystem. Huh. Well, I didn't realize that they had all gone extinct in the region. Liowa's wildebeest migration is in full swing from late November to mid December as the start of Zambia's rainy season. Yeah, it's true. Sometimes it can occur a bit earlier, but late November is definitely pretty safe date to start the wet season at. When visitors, often in lone safari vehicles, can watch the wildebeest move across the honey colored plains and at river crossings. It's honey colored because it's dry and it hasn't received any water. Like that's one of the things about many pictures of these grasslands, like even in North America, possibly even certain parts of Asia, is like you see like this pristine, like it looks like a different version of a non-plow like wheat plain, and in reality, like the animals on it are, especially the herbivores, are starving. They're like, "Bring the rain." And here it is. The park is closed between December and March when it's at its wettest. According to Zambian wildlife photographer Luke Katemba, who traveled to the area in July 2025, the experience feels like stepping back in time. With hardly another vehicle in sight, it's an experience. Okay, yeah, we know. Okay, here is it is in the wet season. So this is probably the just sort of golden looked was or look anyway. I'm not sure about the amount of like the population of zebra in this region.
I've always been curious. Do their hooves get softer when they stand in water, kind of like our nails?
Yeah, that's been a question of mine as well. I think they're certain animals, especially like the different Leshwe antelope in the region, they're somewhat almost semi-aquatic, so they're better adapted to this type of habitat. The certain subspecies of other animals like the zebra are better equipped to deal with these flooding instances, but there's also higher ground in different regions. So it's not just completely flooded in the whole park. There are certain areas, I believe this is what I'm thinking of over in Laiwa Plain National Park. This could be towards, I believe, northwestern Zambia. Now, also, this country has the largest African painted dog population in Africa as well. Um, but so it's only certain parts of the park where it's quite marshy.
Why are they painting their dogs?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know why. You could say it does help them camouflage quite a bit, but yeah, that's why they're painted that way. Earlier in the year, between May and July, when the wildebeest have migrated out of the park, clear skies and cooler temperatures at Laiwa make for excellent conditions for viewing game such as zebras, wildebeest, red leshwe, lions, hyena, and abundant bird life. I saw everything from hyenas in broad daylight to lions patrolling their territory. So let's see. When the rains recede in May and June, and just before they return in November, the plains transform to a carpet of wildflowers with pink, red, and white sand lilies. Well, also the grasses are seeding at this point, which can benefit different species of birds. I believe in certain species of rodents, like certain native mice to the region that feed on those seeds. Between August and October, the hot, dry months, the plains turns a golden hue, and wildlife become easier to spot as animals concentrate around the last remaining water sources. Predators can be a bit more challenging because they're now much more camouflaged. Let's see. So, yeah, this also is a bit further north of the Okavango Delta and Botswana. I'm not entirely sure if it connects to the same um, waterways that the Okavango does, like from Angola. Due to its remote location, reaching Laiwa National Park isn't as easy as other parks in southern or East Africa. International flights land in the capital of Lusaka at Kenneth Kunda International Airport. From there, the best and fastest way to get to the park is to arrange a 2.5-hour charter flight in Kalabo, the park's gateway. Alternatively, travelers can make the roughly 10-hour drive by rental car. A pontoon ferry takes vehicles across the river into the park, and a high clearance 4x4 vehicle is essential for self driving. Yeah. No. The journey may be long, but the reward is standing on the plains with hardly another vehicle in sight. And I've heard it could possibly be a pain, like to get in the Serengeti, but that's probably due to the amount of people that visit it.
Didn't it say lions are here?
Yeah. Why? It hasn't shown any.
No, I'm looking at that open picture where they could just walk right in.
Oh, yeah, that's common in most safaris. Well, some lodges are more closed in, and some, yeah, they can. Anybody can just walk in. Elephants can walk in. There's Anyway, opened in 2017, King Lowanaki. Okay, you know what? Let's see. It's 3,615 a person, if you're wondering, for 3 nights. This includes meals, drinks, game drives, laundry, and emergency evacuation for medical reasons. Huh.
This is
Uh,
Africa, isn't it?
yeah, but I gotta say that's probably better than. It might be a better deal than most stuff in here. I mean, I'm just being honest. For a more price accessible option, African Parks operates Laiwa Camp in a jackalberry and plum tree forest with 7 raised canvas chalets and a thatched roof communal dining area.
Why do I feel like we're reading a advertisement?
Yeah. Wait. Oh, this is one of these. Okay. Um. Then the largest bat migration in Kasanka National Park. Is that also in Zambia? Hmm. Okay. Well. Ugh. Um. I think there could be somewhere around 200 lions at least within Liowa National Park. The spotted hyenas might be a bit larger in population, possibly as much as 300. The African painted dogs, though, I believe, are towards more of like the central area of Zambia. And then you also have a somewhat decent size of cheetahs, at least compared to other cheetah populations. So let's keep moving back to cheeseburger.com. McGraw got behind me and Maggie in front. They both growled louder, and all of a sudden, I got the impression I was being herded. What? High school student saved from mountain lion by his heroic German shepherds while out for a nighttime run in the woods. To say that we do not deserve doggos is an understatement. They are literally willing to put their lives on the line whenever they are needed to, just so that we can remain safe and sound in the face of danger. And that is what our story entails today as we delve into the life of a student athlete who, while on an exercise expedition, found himself in a situation which was so devious, so cunning that he could not even see it with his very eyes. But his dogs most certainly could, and without hesitation, they leapt into action and made sure that their human buddy was safe from the threats that loomed beyond the trees. And while this story does not help anyone who might have a fear of the woods, it most certainly does go a long way to proving that the company of cute canines is far more beneficial than just an emotional connection. It could literally save your life one day. So, oh, okay. Wait a second. So, hold on. Around my 11th birthday, my family moved from a suburban neighborhood to a more rural setup. Not too long before moving up here, same area I live now, our German Shepherd had a litter of puppies. They were Shepherd Rot mixes. Oh, and the two that we kept ended up growing to 110 to 120 pounds. Their names were Maggie and McGraw. In case you're wondering, yes, he was named after Quick Draw McGraw. So these are Western Austrian puppies. I'm just guessing by the mixing. Anyway, Rottweilers are Italian. Maggie and McGraw were my dogs by all accounts. As I started playing sports in high school, I would take them for a run. Okay, come on. Through the woods every day to go from my house to the lake nearby and come back around dusk. I don't think that's him. That's just a random picture. 'Cause he would look, yeah, much less like that. The usual way this went was as follows. I call them, we take off at my jogging pace. McGraw hangs fairly close to me. McGee runs around chasing everything. A few different times he jumped deer into the trail, a bit too close for my comfort, but those are other stories. This story is still my favorite from them. I was on the typical run with them after school and practice. It was September-ish, so it was starting to get dark earlier, and on this particular night, I was sluggish. Mm, anyway, so we were still making our way home as dark approached. The trail is about 2 miles, and it's an overgrown access road to a fishery pond for the lake. At this point, I'm about halfway back and in the thicker brush parts of the trail. Something weird happens. Normally, the previously described attitudes would be present until we got home. On this night, the boys got very spooked very fast. I like how we're not having to click to different pages for scam stories. Hopefully, anyway, while McGraw would normally be out in front, just relatively close, he always had the protector personality. Tonight, at this point on the trail, his hair stood on end and he started growling. Not loud, just enough. Next, Maggie came out of the bushes as fast as I've ever seen him move, growling the same and hair on end. No, it's just Adobe stock. McGraw got behind me and Maggie in front. They both growled louder, and all of a sudden, I got the impression I was being herded. We made it back fairly quick. I trusted these dogs immensely, so when they acted like that, we made time back. I still can't say for sure that this was the case as I never saw what spooked them, but it was no more than a week later that our neighbor's dog went missing. Another neighbor's chicken coop was raided, and finally, a few weeks later, only about a mile from the incident, a female mountain lion was shot while trying to take a neighbor's goat. I am certain that night I was being stalked by a mountain lion, and I'm certain those 2 dogs protected me. Hmm, oh, yeah, another one of these. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. Um, I think because it didn't happen, it's like, eh, okay. So, from BBC.com, tube may have been around seal's neck since last summer. Jeez. Well, I mean, Okay, well, let's see the damage. Explorers aquariums say there are reports that the seal has had the tubing around its neck for months. A seal spotted on Rathlin Island with black piping around its neck is being monitored by officials. The Department of Agriculture, Environment, and Rural Affairs, IRA, said it is visiting the island to check on the animal every fortnight. Fortnight? But it is currently assessed as being healthy and alert. It was first reported to Explorers Aquarium in August, but headkeeper Ewan Morrison said there are some reports that the seal has had the tubing around it for months. We have seen the seal for the last 5 weeks or so and have been monitoring it over that time. We think it's had that issue for quite a lot longer than that, possibly as far as back as last summer. He said there are several challenges in trying to remove it. We could look at darting them and trying to catch it, but if we do, that's going to disappear in the water. It won't end well for the seal as if it falls asleep out there. Huh. Mr. Morrison said those looking to catch the seal would need to more or less jump on it, which would require being very close. At the moment, it looks far too fit and healthy. It's sat at the edge of the water. We're not going to get within a couple of 100 meters of it. Never mind gets hands on it. Mr. Morrison said this is good news as despite the piping, the seal looks really healthy. It's showing all the signs we really want to see. Head up, tail up, it looks nice and fat. The keeper said the seal appeared to be hunting well and it had not shown any signs of slowing down despite the tube. So I guess, yeah, it's a picture of him with his pod.
Wouldn't they just trank it?
Um, yeah, they could. I don't understand this. A DIRA spokesperson said they are liaising closely with Explorers on potential intervention options when the situation allows. Explorers have assessed the seal as being healthy and alert, which combined with the presence of other seals in close proximity makes any intervention measures difficult to implement without causing a wider disturbance to the colony, which could result in injuries. Officials are continuing to monitor the situation and have urged members of the public to notify them of further sightings. Yeah, do watch out for any animal, in fact, like foxes, bears with like certain snack jars on their head. But those collars, I mean, that can occur. Sometimes it's like wire or something else, but tends to become tighter. Whereas that seal, it doesn't really look like it has a tight grip on him. So he'll probably be all right. Is that a harbor seal too? So I think it might have been in England as well. Um, okay, so moving forward from News Channel 5, Tennessee habitats restored to help monarchs spread their wings in threat of endangered status. What is with everybody and the monarch? There are thousands of different species of butterflies out there, and it's always focused on the monarch. It's like with all of these different mammals, and there's so much emotion towards the polar bear, and they're fine. Anyway, Tennessee Park's 12-year grassland restoration project provides vital stopover for migrating monarchs as species numbers continue declining nationwide. I don't believe that, but okay. Um, Radnor Lake State Park, Tennessee. Peak migration season has arrived for monarch butterflies, and they're now passing through Tennessee on their journey south. Okay, now, okay, something I'll mention, you can't have it with different species where in certain areas their population might really be declining. But it's just as a whole, I think there are other areas like in South Texas, for instance, where the monarchs are actually doing much better than in previous years. These iconic black and orange insects face an uncertain future. Okay. At Radnor Lake State Park, conservationists are working to preserve this troubling trend by creating vital habitat for the migrating monarchs. So let's see. Native grasses now stand
Wait,
tall.
how do the monarchs know where to stop by?
I mean, on their migration route.
Yes.
Well, it's partially just due to them, like they constantly have to feed. So this is probably just one of their pit stops for gathering some nectar. Native grasslands now stand tall and proud across the park, but the restoration took 12 years and covered more than 150 acres. So I'm guessing what occurred here, 12 years though, um, is it was completely devoid of native vegetation. It's probably a bunch of like Asian and African grasses. So it might have had Bermuda, Johnson, probably different types of invasive flowers, and they probably poisoned the area, and they put in, just native flower and grass seed, and finally, where it just took root. The flowering ironweed, thistles, and frostweed provide essential resources for the butterflies. There's a wide variety of different species of flowers certain butterfly species prefer over others, and you can't always just necessarily grab a certain, flower from some, local garden center and assume that they're going to come over. Well, let's say they do come to the flower. The problem with many species of exotic flowers is that they don't provide the nutrients that these specific insects need, especially over in different parts of the United States. For instance, the monarch. Many of these exotic flower species don't provide much nutrients, despite the butterflies occasionally coming over to feed on them. The same thing goes for the different species of native bees, and they don't get the nutrients either. And then there are other instances where they just won't touch it. And same occurs for hummingbirds as well. Be careful with that. Like the hummingbird nectar powder, like the artificial, um, the artificial food, it's sometimes not the best for hummingbirds. So let's see. Okay, we're probably in our third generation who have never seen a monarch, but probably only seen them once or twice. So this absence or void, I think, has created this urgency from those of us who may have seen a few. We want to be able to see those now and enjoy them. So you probably have it where in different parts of Tennessee, they just didn't. Oh, I need the where's different parts of Tennessee just didn't have very good, native grassland. If native grasslands continue to disappear from Nashville, oh, well, that makes sense. If this is on the outskirts of, Nashville, that I was thinking somewhere else, like, okay, you have to remember, the Southern Appalachian Mountains are on the eastern side or edge of, Tennessee. Nashville's located right in the center of the state, and then you have the different types of grasslands and even, floodlands where, like, Memphis is located. So, okay, this makes sense. Wow, okay. We give them a vacation on their trip. We let them stop, take a breather, refuel, and go on the rest of their journey. Their goal is to survive for the next generation. Okay, yeah, I think it's more of on their, like, beginnings or the end of their migration, these different areas, they have a lot more habitat available, whereas on the way, there's much less. That, yeah, I can agree with in many of these individuals, but this isn't just the monarch. I mean, this would be many of the native butterflies in the region, they just don't have the migrations that the monarch does. So let's see. If we okay, so if people can individually contribute in their yard, well, be careful for, making sure like, the problem is with a lot of native wildflowers is that at first when they bloom, it looks great, and then all of a sudden, it doesn't take very long, it can take just a few days, and it looks like a mess, and that's the problem with, at least adding to the front yard. I mean, in the backyard, I mean, it's fine. It can actually look pretty good. You might even have certain, like, bunnies up in there. Anyway, the, restoration efforts appear to be working. Visitors have noticed increased butterfly activity compared to previous years. Um, let's see, I think so because we've been seeing a ton of them, and I don't remember seeing as many butterflies last year. I mean, they said, like, in the past 3 years, it's had a big impact. So yeah, and the monarchs had to find the flowers as well. So I think monarchs are Tennessee fans, but I can't prove that. Um, so let's see, okay. Well, this is good to hear. So there's a essential pit stop of nectar, especially 150 acres. That's a lot of nectar, for a wide variety of different butterflies, bees in the region. It's over like 1,000 different species of native bees. Actually, I might be underestimating that. There could be over somewhere between 2 to 4,000 native species in North America. Most people, they just think of the European honeybee. That's just one species over even in Europe. It's like, yeah, I'd say they're very unique among bee species. I don't want to, push down on them like I was, pushing down a bit on the monarch earlier, but I mean, I think the problem is that these animals tend to, they're recognized in the wrong way, like, and also, like, they're more important than pretty much everything else, but it's just that, um I forgot where I was trying to get at. But basically, this 150-acre area is going to probably also provide even bedding because it's native grassland for deer in the region. Because the Johnson, the Bermuda grasses, they don't provide like the essential bedding that does need to also help protect their fawns. Even turkeys in these different regions for their chicks. So I just thought I'd mention that as well. I think the black bears might just pass by. Though you might find some ants and, termites in the region, so that might help them as well. Okay, I'm ready for the next one. From StarTribune.com. So Minnesota Star Tribune. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, gosh, another one of these. Oh, okay. So from news.cgtn, see the difference.com. China's tiger leopard numbers rise with conservation. Okay, it's good to hear because they are extremely low. Now, if we're talking, these look like Amur leopards, though. There is a small population, but they're coming in from southeastern Russia, over in northeastern China. Oh, a tiger and leopard national park. That's definitely a healthy individual. Wow. I think he's confused. Yeah, he's confused. Just and he's probably concerned if there's a cliff further down. Oh, wow, this is really good footage. Is that a mother with her cubs or a male with a female? Oh, wow. So 50 Siberian tigers, 70 Amur leopards. Problem is Amur leopards don't have a lot of genetic variety due to them like dwindling down to somewhere between 30 to 40 individuals back in the early 2000s. And they have rebounded, but he's that is okay. That looks like a really fat tiger. Okay, these are gotta be cubs. Okay, yeah, so it's over on the border. Well, I mean, definitely look like healthy individuals. Even these Amur leopards. 1,000 square kilometers, so what, 500 square miles?
Why do tigers always look like when they're walking around, they're just going doo 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 doo?
Um, yeah, they're very light on their feet, and, they all of those individuals seem quite calm. It's a really healthy habitat too. Female Siberian tiger in Northeast China Tiger and Leopard National Park has given birth to 5 cubs and 2 litters within 2 years. The growing family reflects the recovery of Siberian tigers and Amur leopards in the park, where populations are not only increasing but also expanding deeper into the park's interior. A recently captured video of a mother tiger with her 2 cubs in the core area of the park has drawn significant attention. After careful comparison and identification, the 2 cubs were confirmed as newly born tigers, previously unrecorded in the park. Their mother, known as 003F in the park's household registration archive, is a long term resident with a well documented territory and family history. She is also the mother of the famous Hunyu, a tigress widely known for her frequent appearances near National Highway
Can you say
331.
that again?
Hunyu? Okay, based on the timeline of 003F's previous litters, park rangers concluded that she gave birth to 5 cubs in 2 separate reproduction cycles within just a year and a half. Wow. Okay, she immediately probably kicked out those that first set of cubs once the I guess what in the 20-month stretch? No, it'd be like 18 months, I think. Anyway, this careful documentation is part of a broader effort to monitor the park's wildlife. In fact, every tiger and leopard cub in the national park is assigned a unique household registration file from the moment it is first documented. These files not only track familial relationships, yeah, across generations, but also record individual movement patterns. The comprehensive monitoring at the Northeast China Tiger and Leopard National Park continuously tracks the movements of all Siberian tigers and Amur leopards. It not only supports ongoing conservation efforts and research, but also provides early warnings for potential human wildlife conflicts near villages or roads. We have now established detailed household registration files for more than 50 Siberian tigers and over 70 Amur leopards. Household registration files. Is that referring to like their territories? So where they're all hanging out at? It's
Well, they're
possible.
just getting social security numbers and
Well, yeah. Basic information such as distribution ranges, activity areas, um,
wait, so they get basically birth certificates with paw prints.
yeah,
Eh,
age and reproduction records have been largely documented, and a list of key monitoring targets has been created. Through the automated recognition function of our integrated monitoring system, we closely track these keystone species and issue timely alerts to strengthen prevention efforts. Park officials explain that young Siberian tigers leave their mothers upon reaching adulthood to establish their own territories. Females typically settle closer to their birthplace while males venture farther. Some young male or females even inherit or share parts of their mother's territory. Yeah, this is pretty true. This tends to be more common with tigers, but I mean, it's been seen with lions as well. It has also been seen with grizzly bears as well. Like even with where the daughters will actually come back and help take care of later cubs. It's not very common, but it has occurred over, and I think somewhere in Alberta, also like Banff or Jasper National Park, a natural privilege that supports their survival. Thanks to this innate wisdom and generational effort, Siberian tigers, once confined to a narrow habitat along the China Russia border 2 decades ago, have gradually expanded into the heart of the national park and beyond. Their footprints now cover almost the entire protected area. With continued conservation efforts and improving ecological conditions, the stable distribution range of Siberian tigers and Amur leopards has been expanding from the China Russia border, the southeastern part of the park, into its interior. The expansion has already reached over 300 kilometers. The total activity range of these animals now exceeds 11,000 square kilometers, and breeding families of Siberian tigers have been recorded at far northwest of the national park. Oh, this is really good to hear. So they are increasing population. At least with the Amur tigers, I think they're doing a bit better with their genetic variety, at least compared to the Amur leopards. But um, yeah, at least for this part of northeastern China, this is looking really good for them. So I hope they continue to increase in population. Sounds like the prey numbers are also probably doing pretty well. I believe there's like red deer in the area. I don't think so when it comes to roe deer. Who are those individuals? Not Sika deer. Or maybe it's Sika, not like the Sika black-tailed mule deer over in Alaska. Let's see who else. Wild boar that they're feeding on, and well, for the Siberian tigers, occasionally like female. The smaller brown bear species in this region, they do actively feed on female brown bears and their cubs. Much rarer, at least for the males. But um, let's see. I'm just trying to think of who else that they're feeding on. Oh, believe there might be musk deer in the region, which is not a true deer. And at least that's all it's hitting me with their price horses. Not really fish, at least very much. Maybe Amur leopards occasionally. Let's see. I was wondering if they meant by the 11,000 square kilometers, like the whole area in which the Amur leopards and the Amur tigers are inhabiting. I mean, it could be for their population. Oh, well, let's move forward. The Dodo.com box of coconut water left in parking lot had something very different inside. No one knows how long they'd been waiting. This past May, while driving to work through the 4 a.m. darkness, a shelter staff member at Orange County Animal Services noticed a cardboard box reading coconut water sitting near a dumpster in the rescue's parking lot. Okay. The staff member's heart dropped. They approached the box and confirmed their suspicions. A pile of little kittens were abandoned inside. Oh,
I didn't read this. I just thought it sounded like an interesting thing.
okay. So, uh, hmm, yep. Yeah, they're not in good condition. Is that later? Hmm, okay, well, they look much better here. Okay, well, these kittens made it, and they've been adopted. Hopefully, they have conversations by the window and, like, about plans how to take over a tree with some squirrels or anyway. From newscientist.com, Jaguar breaks records by swimming at least 1.3 kilometers. Really? That's a record? Oh, a 1.3 kilometer swim by a jaguar is the longest ever confirmed, but the cat's motives for making the journey are unclear. Well, I guess usually, like at least by the footage I've seen, they're just swimming from one side of the river to the other. They tend to be quite, small rivers in terms of the width. Or occasionally you see them some part of a marsh, but they're just looking for a capybara.
Well, maybe he was just training.
Yeah, he could have been. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. So, camera traps show that an adult male jaguar swam at least 1.3 kilometers to an island in the reservoir, the Serra de Mesa Dam in central Brazil. By far the longest recorded swim by one of these animals. Oh, okay. Well, this makes more sense. But so he's going through some jaguar. Maybe they're using the dam for jaguar ranger school. I'm not sure. In fact, it's possible the jaguar swam nearly twice as far. Reaching the island would have required either a 1 kilometer swim to a smaller island, followed by the 1.3 kilometer swim, or a 2.3 kilometer direct swim from the mainland with no stop. Uh, nothing. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I don't know what to say about it because we're not sure what happened to the jaguar.
It just looked interesting. So
I think that was just a random photo that showed up, but yeah, I hope he gets some capybara or maybe some caimans. Tends to be their preferred food source. Caimans that they feed on are some cases like 4 to 5 feet in length. They feed on the smaller species of caimans. So moving forward from savannahnow.com. World Atlas says these 7 lakes, swamps, and rivers are most alligator-filled waters in Georgia. I don't think we're able to read it. That would be interesting, though. Yeah, it's annoying when that occurs. Ugh. Um, hmm. Yeah, that would be. I wonder where that is. Probably towards like certain southern regions of Georgia. You go towards like the northeastern parts, towards the Appalachian Mountains. Not really going to find any alligators there. So, from animals.howstuffworks.com, the rain frog looks like an AI generated Pokemon. Yes, well, wait, what? Okay, never thought of that. Black rain frog looks like the second tier evolution of Pokemon you'd find in a cave. If you're out during a desert storm and hear something that sounds like a squeaky toy, don't panic. You might be hearing the rain frog, a tiny burrowing amphibian that spent most of its life hidden underground. Rain frogs aren't just one species, they're a group of small, round bodied frogs with short limbs and a serious case of stage fright. Hmm. These frogs are found only in sub Saharan Africa, with those from southern Africa getting the most attention. Some of them, like the black rain frog, Breviceps fuscus, look perpetually angry thanks to their frowny faces and stout bodies. Well, I mean, there's also other types of frogs related to them that They always look grumpy. Where do you go? Others, like the desert rain frog, Breviceps macrops, are known for their translucent skin and high pitched defensive calls. See, rain frogs belong to the Breviceptidae family. They get their name from their unusual lifestyle. They spend most of their time underground and emerge only after rainfall. Unlike many other frog species, they don't have strong legs for hopping. Instead, their short limbs and rounded bodies are better suited for digging burrows. Most rain frogs can't swim and are unable to live in open water. That's why moisture is so important. When the rain comes, it's a sign for them to come to the surface, mate, and lay eggs. These events are rare and heavily dependent on environmental conditions. Okay, let's go to another one. Yeah, when it comes to these rain frogs, they're very unique in the frog family. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. So from BBC.com, beavers reintroduced after 400-year gap. Welcome babies. Well, I'm guessing this probably isn't somewhere in North America. I wonder it's over somewhere in Europe. Is it going to leave? Should. Oh yeah. Oh, here we go. Wait a second. Okay. Wow. So it's is it the mother or the father with her or his or her pups? Because beavers are monogamous. Hmm. Yeah, beaver pups, they need to stay with their mother or with their parents for at least 2 years. They're very vocal. I wonder what time of year that is. Okay, so beavers that were introduced to a county after a 400-year absence for the species have had. Arr! But where'd it go? Oh, no, that's not it. Have to go back. Okay, I've had babies. 8 adult beavers were released by the Wildlife Trust in Northamptonshire into the 17-hectare or 42-acre fenced area in February. So somewhere in England. The kits were captured on camera at the enclosure at Rushden Lakes in Northamptonshire earlier this month. Ben Casey from the Trust said it was a real landmark moment for nature restoration in the county. Yeah, I mean, it is. They haven't been there for 400 years. This is quite miraculous. Yeah, it's amazing that they're here. It's really good to see.
Well, it wasn't a bad video either.
No, I mean, that was really good. Really good footage of the kits with their parent moving over a log to the dam. So, from the dodo.com, anxious rescue pig completely transforms after meeting the love of his life. He thinks she's the most beautiful pig in the world. Okay.
I told you I picked these because they sound funny.
Every rescued pig who enters Saisu Refuge is promised a happy life on an expansive farm surrounded by other curly tailed survivors. But one lucky pig, Elmer. Okay. A lot of what's with all these Elmers? Anyway, I guess it's fine. Got more than he was promised. At least this Elmer isn't hunting rabbits. In addition to securing a dreamy new home, the sweet boy unexpectedly found the love of his life. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is quite something. I was expecting like a much smaller, like a potbelly pig. So it's
You know your
Yorkshire.
pigs.
I think this is a Yorkshire, just the typical, your pink Wilbert guy. So, okay, it all started when Elmer met Hermoine, a beloved resident of Saisu Refuge, while the two were in medical quarantine. So, Hermoine, who'd been at the refuge since 2019, had a famously beautiful, tough, and wickedly smart personality, which made it difficult to bond with other residents. Their astrology signs just didn't line up. Anyway, but Elmer, who arrived with severe social anxiety, was immediately drawn to her. Elmer was smitten. For months, Elmer courted Hermione. Oh, that's great. He would share his snack. What? Her snacks? Or she would. I think there's a typo there. And he would even fluff her side of the barn with fresh straw. Huh. Um, Today I was looking back at some of my favorite photos of Hermione. Okay, so the first one is of Hermie and Sophie greeting each other. So these are other pigs. Um, for quite a while, these two were very best friends and part of the Golden Girl Granny Club. Okay, here at Saisu, we lost Soph back in January. Oh, so imagine these two reunited in Hog Heaven. Oh, anyway, just like this, finally back together. Elmer was Hermie's partner, and he was absolutely obsessed with her. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, so Hermione wasn't quite interested in Elmer at first. His kind gestures eventually won her over. Okay. They soon became an inseparable couple, taking the refuge by storm with their loyalty and dedication to each other. Okay, so he shares his food with her and lets her pick the best spot next to the air conditioner in the barn. I think that was his idea, but okay. Hermione doesn't mind that Elmer is half her age. That sounds normal. And she also ignores the weird way he drinks water. They're the cutest couple in the world.
Okay, this is the funniest one so far.
Yeah, they seem pretty relaxed. Maybe. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They seem pretty relaxed.
Doesn't it look like we're seeing a smile?
Yeah, yeah. They seem. I've never seen a pig tub like that. Huh.
Well, that's smushing your tub.
Yeah.
Well,
Did
I've
they
never seen
wait?
you go silent before.
Oh, so wow. So they actually have like a house built barn. Might be it with the. She tolerates all the foster kids. He's always bringing home and tries to be more patient for his sake. So okay, so they raised a family of foster piglets. So instead of bear in the big blue house, it's the pig in the big blue house.
This is funny. Wait, is
I think that's one of the foster piglets.
well,
That's somebody else. Name's another.
yeah, that's not the same pig.
No, it's somebody else.
Oh. Okay, I'm getting dizzy.
Okay, I think it's just showing the pig. Uh, okay, so unfortunately, Hermione was suddenly hospitalized in August 2024 after her caregivers noticed an infection in her foot. They rushed her to the hospital, hoping that her foot could be treated promptly and that she'd return to the refuge soon. But medical exams soon confirmed their worst fear. Infection was a lot worse than it appeared, and she sadly could not be cured. Right. So Hermione passed away at the clinic, leaving her devoted caregivers in a pool of sorrow. When they returned to the refuge with their sweet girl in tow, they noticed Elmer sleeping by the gate where he'd last seen her leave. Refuge owners were heartbroken for Elmer, who wasn't able to accompany Hermione on the 6-hour drive to the clinic. There was no way for them to communicate to Elmer what happened, but they promised to stay by his side and help him through the grief of losing his soulmate. Okay. Did you get him another pig? Elmer's been receiving endless amount of apples and affection in the years since losing Hermione's, and he's slowly started to heal. I don't think he has, but okay. Thanks to the social skills he learned through Hermione, He's been able to make more friends at the refuge and is now rebuilt his family. It took a few months, but Elmer is now finally smiling again. So did he get another pig? He didn't get another pig.
Well, I think he's raising the children.
Uh, okay. Uh, well, that was unfortunate. Ish. Like watching the movie Up. Well, sort of. Anyway, from IFLscience.com, crocodiles weren't all bloodthirsty killers. Some evolved to be plant-eating vegetarians. Well, true crocodiles technically no, but crocodiles and alligators they can be omnivorous to an extent. Crocodilomorphs, yes, you would have had, which are a group of derived archosauromorphs, but many crocodilomorphs, yes, would have been exclusively feeding on different species of ferns. Who do we have here? Oh, okay, Chimaerosuchus. So this individual from the Cretaceous. So an extinct genus of Chinese crocodiliform. Um, Interesting. Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at its distinct teeth, it's very possible it's probably an herbivore. Possibly omnivorous too, though. There's something carnivorous about it, especially the front incisors. Okay, so in recent years, scientists have come across the remains of several ancient crocodilomorphs, the group including all living and extinct relatives of crocodiles and alligators that appear to have lived on a herbivore diet. This theory is largely based on fossilized teeth. In 2019, researchers at the University of Utah and the Natural History Museum of Utah studied 146 teeth from 16 different species of extinct crocodilomorphs in an effort to reconstruct their diets. Carnivores possess simple teeth, whereas herbivores have much more complex teeth. I wouldn't call carnivores simple, but I think what it's trying to mean by that is that herbivores need much sharper teeth and distinct types of sharp teeth in order to slice through different types of plant material. Many there are certain plants that many species of herbivores cannot plow through, whereas some others can slice through them. Omnivores, organisms that eat both plant and animal material, fall somewhere in between. Yeah, it's true. Part of my earlier research showed that this pattern holds in living reptiles that have teeth, such as crocodilians and lizards. So, these results told us that the basic pattern between diet and teeth is found in both mammals and reptiles, despite very different tooth shapes, and is applicable to extinct reptiles. So, oh, okay, here we have Notosuchus, Armadillosuchus, and Chimaerosuchus, and Pachysuchus. So the findings indicated that some species of extinct crocodiles had complex teeth, suggesting that they were likely herbivores. These plant eating crocodilomorphs appeared early in the evolutionary history of the group, just after the end Triassic mass extinction around 201 million years ago. They persisted until just 66 million years ago. During the end Cretaceous mass extinction event, um, I guess it's not hitting me at the moment about like any herbivorous crocodilomorphs during the Cenozoic era. Was it just specifically carnivorous? Anyway, so throughout this period, plant eating may have developed independently, a minimum of 3 times, possibly up to 6 times. That's it? No, there was way more than that. Our work demonstrates that extinct crocodilomorphs had an incredibly varied diet. Some were similar to living crocodilians and were primarily carnivorous. Others were omnivores, and still others likely specialized in plants. Okay, so anything else? No, that was it. Okay, so I think it was just specifically those 4 or 5 species that were herbivorous. Um, which even they mentioned that it's very possible they were omnivorous as well. But there were certain crocodilomorphs, like for instance, who was it? Um, some individual from Madagascar during the late Cretaceous, around 67 million years ago, that was primarily herbivorous. Like it didn't have any teeth. Let's see. So from kptv.com, beavers helping restore native habitat in Portland metro area. Conservationists in Oregon are turning to the state's namesake animal to help restore wetlands and improve the environment in the Willamette Valley and Portland, but specifically the Portland metro area. Huh. Yeah, it's gonna have to wait. Oh, there it is. Uh, Okay, so it's just grooming themselves. It's one of the parents and their kid. Okay, so let's see. In Washington County, habitat conservation specialist Mike Conroy with the Tualatin Soil and Water Conservation District has been working with landowners along Fern Creek, a tributary of the Tualatin River. We saw it as an opportunity to kind of invite the beavers back in. And then we get all the benefits from the beaver dams, like creating all that wildlife habitat in that pond behind us, storing water up on the floodplain, making the water filter through their dams, and then really interact with the soil before it moves on its way out to the Willamette and the Columbia. So Conroy said removing non-native grass and planting native vegetation has helped attract beavers back to a 29-acre property once dominated by farmland. Conroy says once a dam starts to take shape, the pond and wetland that forms behind it is transformative. He adds that beaver wetlands help filter water, improve quality, and attract pollinators such as birds and bees that benefit nearby farms. A similar project in Gresham shows what long term restoration can look like. At Headwaters Farm, run by the East Multnomah Soil and Water Conservation District, 15 years of restoration work has transformed a small creek into a thriving wetland. When we purchased this property, it was a nursery and they were growing plants all the way up to the bank. And we have a program that we do called Stream Care with private landowners where we remove weeds and plant native trees and shrubs all along the stream site area. And actually, the impetus behind that program is to shade the stream to bring down stream temperatures for salmon. But the side benefit was that these beavers came in and started building dams with all the stuff we planted. Oh, well, this sounds like a really good restoration project. Mm,
Yes, but who's restoring?
yeah, true. These beavers are having a
Sounds like
big,
the beavers are the ones that are restoring.
yeah, they're having a big impact. White Brainerd said projects like these prove humans and wildlife can thrive together. There are ways that humans can coexist with animals in urban areas such as this. You can see that there's, well, as long as, I guess the tree is not too close to your house and you're not nearby where a beaver is going to be taking down trees and falls on your house. You can see that there's a housing development over there. Anyway, we're raising the water table, we're recharging groundwater. So, conservationists say the restored habitats will continue to be monitored for invasive species and other threats even after the projects are completed. Well, technically, I mean, they're not. It's really hard to ever say if a project at this point in time can be completed because of the constant threat from invasive species. And this goes for all over the world. I mean, what doesn't have invasive species? Antarctica? But I don't know, I might be wrong on that. Um, yep. Okay, so moving forward from Earth.com. Rare and elusive black jaguars were captured mating on video for the first time ever. Really? Or I guess people had seen it, but it's just never filmed. Deep in the Brazilian Amazon, something extraordinary was caught on camera. Researchers from the University of East Anglia filmed a black coated jaguar mating with a spotted jaguar in Serra do Pardo National Park. Oh, I thought it. Wait a second. I mean, there are certain black jaguars where you can still see the spots. So is that what it meant? This rare moment offers a new glimpse into the secret world of one of the most elusive predators on Earth.
Wait, are black jaguars and spotted jaguars the same thing?
Yes, it's just the pigment difference. But you can also have black leopards as well. You cannot have black cougars, um, at least that I know of, black lions. Let's see. There are certain instances with tigers where they can become quite black, but they still tend to show some orange. So let's see. Let's see. Their dark coats come from a genetic trait called melanism, which causes them to produce more pigment than usual. Even though their fur looks almost completely black, if you look closely in the right light, you can still see the jaguar's famous rosette patterns hidden beneath the dark coloring. Scientists believe this adaptation helps black jaguars blend into the dense shadows of rainforests, giving them an edge when stalking prey. Despite their mysterious appearance, black jaguars share the same powerful build and hunting abilities. Let's see. So, during an Amazon biodiversity and carbon expedition, researchers recorded a 6-minute video showing a melanistic female with a spotted male. We hit the proverbial jackpot and captured the first ever video trap footage of a black jaguar mating with a spotted male in the wild. Oh, so the female was specifically black. Huh. The 6-minute sequence reveals courtship and copulation. And if they'd move a few meters, we would have missed everything.
Why are they recording this though?
I guess it's like comparing it with like how do the tigers mate, how do lions mate? Because with jaguars, most cats, unlike lions, it's going to be a much smaller amount of time compared to lions. Why lions go through that 3-day process is a big question, and as often as they do it throughout the day. So let's see. The footage provides a look into behavior rarely seen outside captivity. This is the first time we've captured a melanistic jaguar mating in the wild. Such observations are crucial, since jaguar reproduction is still poorly understood in natural settings. Most previous knowledge comes from zoos where stress or mate incompatibility can distort natural instincts. The recorded event displayed many of the same stages seen in captive jaguars. Researchers noted the male's approach, female's crouching, mounting, receptiveness, and pelvic movements, all matching well-documented sequences. Some behaviors, like tail flicking, growls, and female rolling after mating, adding further depth. Yeah, lions do that as well as the tigers. Interestingly, the study suggested that even with coat differences, both black and spotted jaguars show similar mating patterns. This consistency supports the idea that jaguar courtship is deeply rooted and resilient across conditions. Footage revealed details about timing. The two mating events occurred in rapid succession, separated by just over 3 minutes. Huh,
Okay.
that's kind of well. Lions might take a bit longer of a time interval, but that's actually quite similar. So let's see. Oh, wait a second. No, this is only occurring twice. Then no, that's pretty brief. So let's see. Such short intervals are consistent with female peak fertility when frequent copulation may help trigger ovulation. Acoustic what, footage revealed details about timing. The two mating events occurred in rapid succession, separated by just over 3 minutes. Acoustic cues also played a role. Male vocalizations near the end of mating matched known signals of. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, the females rolling after the second copulation suggested successful intermission. So, let's see.
Huh, that's it. Jesus, how long is this? Huh,
Yeah, okay. Well, jaguars, at least in like where this is occurring over in the Amazon, they're doing pretty well. At least in some areas. I mean, I have heard of certain protected areas where their population has been much lower, and others are increasing. Okay, so From clickorlando.com. Bear causes concerns for Orlando man after wandering near his front door. Florida wildlife officers won't intervene unless public threatened. So bear ambles near Orlando front door.
Oh,
Is this supposed to do with the bear? What? Jeez. Just show us the footage. Okay, there it is. It's gonna be quite frequent in Florida.
okay.
Okay, so um okay, that's not good.
Are we
Mm, it's State Road 417 and Colonial Drive. So, probably came from a 20-acre preserve behind his home. Whoa! Just said sheesh. Why why is he up there? This looks like is it not a ramp? Or is it not a ramp, it's a bit of an incline.
Is he scared?
Yeah, I bet he is. I mean, it's a busy road section. The fact that he's got to there without getting hit. Oh, is that I think you're just showing the so th okay, so let's see. Okay, so we don't really know what happened to that bear. Um, yeah. Okay. Final article from news.asu.edu or Arizona State University. Study reveals new details about giant prehistoric otter. ASU scientists find that wolf-sized animal was not a specialized swimmer, but was well built for digging along riverbanks. I think there's a typo there. Um, okay, so where's this taking place? South America? Artist reconstruction of Magale Malutra. Oh, in a marshy wetland forest in China 6 million years ago, an otter the size of a wolf appeared to be the top predator. The otter, Magale Malutra, weighed nearly 100 pounds. Oh, there have been much larger otters. That's smaller than today's sea otter. They can get to like somewhere between 120 and 130 pounds. Ate mollusks and clams, and lived among water birds, elephants, rhinos, tapirs, deer, and beavers. S. melaleutra was a new species discovered in 2017 at a site called Shui Tangba in southwestern China by a team of scientists. The team included Denise Su, research scientist at ASU's Institute of Human Origins and associate professor at the School of Human Evolution and Social Change, and Jay Kelly. Okay, okay. New findings were recently published in the Anatomical Record with an article titled Postcranial functional morphology of the large swamp otter Samigali malalutra from northeastern Yunnan, southwestern China. Oh, okay, so not South America, possibly. When we found the otter, our first question was, what is it? The analysis that was undertaken to answer the question of, once researchers understood a little more about what S. malalutra was, they wanted to learn more about how it moved and lived. Otter fossils that were recovered included the craniodental or skull and teeth, a femur, tibia, astragalus, the ankle bone, two humeri, and two ulni from different individuals, two radii, one juvenile, and a metacarpal hand bone. The skull revealed the animal had teeth with badger like traits. But what about the rest of the body? To figure out more, they needed to study its bones, especially its legs. So I used published measurements from bones belonging to various modern mustelid species to numerically compare proportions of the limb bones, and also measured relevant specimens in museum collections. Different species have limb and bone proportions that reflect their mode of locomotion. By comparing the S. Millutra material with the comparative data set, we can infer its locomotion based on similarity of bone proportions to modern species. Adrian and team were able to determine that S. Millutra's limbs were similar to both semi-aquatic animals, so those that live in and around water, and semi-fossorial animals, those that dig or burrow like badgers. This suggests it wasn't a strong swimmer like the cute sea otters we see at the zoo, but probably paddled at the water's surface, or even like the giant the otters in general today. They're all great swimmers. Just the sea otter's built for the ocean. It rarely comes to land. Its body also seems to have been well built for digging or searching along riverbanks. Because of the well preserved femur bone, the team was able to analyze the grooves and pits of that bone, which gave them clues about muscle attachment and locomotion. The adaptation Adrian found on the femur indicated that there was a lot of hip stabilization that would be helpful for digging. Essentially, what we have is not a terribly specialized swimmer, but with some digging adaptations thrown to the mix. There's a modern otter that's very similar to S. Millutra, Pallas otters in Africa, the genus Aonyx. They don't eat fish primarily. They eat crabs and mollusks and other invertebrates. Basically, dig into these muddy riverbanks and pull out all the clams and huge earthworms. Yeah, different. I'd say all species of otter eventually are going to be munching on different species of mollusks and crustaceans. I'd say fish in general will be the smaller amount in many occasions.
Do any of them eat crabs?
Oh yeah. Like over in South Africa, there's a certain otter that feeds on crabs to an extent, even over North America in different regions. Probably not the giant river otter, the giant otter over in South America too much, or even sea otters. Nepal and India with like these clawless otters or the smooth coated otter. Actually, I'm not sure about those. I do know they feed on different species of fish and crustaceans, occasionally even going after like young crocodiles. Let's see. So, the researchers said S. Melaleutra was the largest carnivore known so far from Shuitengba. At other sites in China from the same time period, lots of hyenas and large cats were found, but not at Shuitengba. Well, these were bit distantly related to today's hyenas. So, why should we care about an otter that lived 6 million years ago? So, this was during the Pliocene epoch, supposedly.
Wait a minute, I have a question. You did the video on the prehistoric hyena. You said that,
You mean the hyenodonts?
yeah, you said it, but it wasn't closely related to hyenas. It was closely related to, what
It was, gosh,
you said the pangolin.
pangolin. Yep. That's
How is that even possible?
yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say maybe like hippos being compared to whales. I mean, that's not as much of an exaggeration. Both are large. They're also, at least the hippo, semi-aquatic. But I actually have not looked into why specifically or how they figured out that it's closely related to the pangolin. So let's see. Now, granted, these are technically hyenas. They're just like not of the same genus as today's hyena. Um, but also, yeah, the hyenodonts. It was a far distant lineage of animals. It just when they were first discovered, they named it after like hyenodon, which means hyena face. So we're in a time of okay, come on. Oh, that's it. Okay, well, um, it's good to see that we're finding more. This is quite interesting considering how kind of limited this otter specifically was in terms of its overall swimming locomotion. So this was interesting to hear. And I guess it's also good to hear that it was quite carnivorous too, feeding on like different crustaceans and mollusks, and like many otters today, not so much fish. I'd say river otters though in North America tend to feed, depending on where they are, quite a bit of fish. But hope you enjoy this stream. From or remember to like, comment, subscribe if you love talking about animals, and share this show with everyone you know. From prehistoric to present, my name is Ethan. This is Creature Guide Live Daily News. Because nothing is better than all animals.